Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now in the previous video, we completed creating this design. Now in this video, we will add lightbox to these images. So here we can see we have these images in the gallery. And if I click on the image, we have this lightbox open and we can close it by clicking on this close icon. And if I click on any other image, we have that image displayed in full screen. And we also have the next and the previous buttons over here. So we can go to the next and the previous images by clicking on these buttons. So we're going to create this from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let's get started. Alright, this is our source code, and if we go to the HTML file, here we have the gallery. So here we can see in the gallery we have these 4 images, and these are the images. So now in these images we need to add the lightbox pop-up. So if you click on this image, we can see that we also have this caption displayed over here. Now we're going to add this caption inside a data attribute. So I'll just copy this caption from here. And let's go back over here to the HTML, and here let's add a data attribute. So here inside the image we can just type data hyphen and the name of the attribute. So I'll just call it caption, and let's set it equal to this text. And let's do the same for all the other images. So I'll just copy this data attribute and I'll just paste it over here for the second image, and let's change this caption to 2, and let's paste it over here. And let's change this to 3, and let's paste it over here, and let's change this to 4. And with that we have added the caption for all these images. Now we can use these values inside our lightbox using JavaScript. Alright, now let's go ahead and write the HTML for the lightbox. So here let's go outside this division and let's create a comment and let's call it lightbox. And for the lightbox, let's create a division with the class of lightbox. And in this, first of all, let's create this close icon over here. So let's create a division with the class of close icon. And let's get the icon from heroicons.com. Alright, here I'm in heroicons.com, and let's search for close. And let's copy this SVG from here. And let's paste it inside this division. Alright, now let's create another division over here, and let's give it a class of image container. And in this we'll create the img tag. And here we need to add the link of the image. So for now, let's add the link of the first image. So I just type images/work1.jpg. And after the image, let's create a division with the class of caption. And here we will add the caption. I'll just type test for now. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is we need to create the next and the previous buttons. So here we can see we have this previous and next buttons over here. So let's create a division with the class of prev_btn. And let's add the icon over here. So I'll just type left, and let's copy this icon. So let's click on copy SVG and let's paste it over here. And let's create another division with the class of next btn, and let's search for right. Let's copy this icon right here and let's paste it over here. Alright, with that we have completed writing the HTML for the lightbox. Now let's go ahead and style this. So if you go back to our page, if you scroll down, here we can see we have the lightbox displayed. Now let's style this. So let's create a comment. I'll just type lightbox. Now the first thing we will do is we will target the image, and let's set the height of the image to 90 viewport height. So let's type lightbox, and in that we have the image container, and in that we have the img tag. So let's set the height to 90 viewport height, and let's tap object fit to cover so that it has the correct proportions. And now we need to set the position of this lightbox to fixed. So let's tap lightbox and let's set the position to fixed. And we need to set the top, right, bottom and left positions to 0 so that it spans the entire screen. Now we have a shortcut called inset for that. So we can just tap inset 0, and it will set the left, right, top and bottom positions to 0. And let's add a background color of RGBA 000, and for the opacity let's tap 0.93, And let's set the z index to 400 so that it is above all the other elements. And this is our lightbox. Let's reduce the width of these icons. So let's target the close icon. So I'll just type lightbox, and we have the icon inside this division with the class of close icon. So let's type close icon, and let's set the position to fixed. Let's set the top position to 40 pixels, and let's set the right position to 40 pixels, and let's set the width to 30 pixels, and let's set the cursor to pointer. And here we have the close icon. Right now let's style the left and the previous icons. So let's type lightbox, prev btn, and lightbox, next btn, and let's set the position to fixed. Let's set the width to 30 pixels, and let's set the top position to 50%. And now it starts from the 50% mark, so we need to also type transform, translate y, negative 50%. And let's set the cursor to pointer. And now we need to position the previous button on the left and the next button on the right. So let's type lightbox, prev btn, and we'll set the left position to 40 pixels. And let's type lightbox, next btn, and let's set the right position to 40 pixels. And now we have the previous and the next buttons. Now let's bring this image to the center. And for that, we'll just go ahead and target the container division, which is lightbox, and we'll set the display to grid, place items to the center. And now we can see we have the image at the center, and we'll also style this caption. So let's type lightbox, caption, and let's set the position to absolute, and we'll position this relative to this image container that we have over here. So let's target the image container. So here I'll just type lightbox, image container, and let's set the position to relative. And now this will be relative to the image container. So for the caption, let's set the bottom position to 0. Let's add a padding of 12 pixels top and bottom, 16 pixels left and right. Let's set the text align to center, and color of the text to white, and background color to RGBA 000 and 0.9 for the opacity. Let's set the width of the caption to 300 pixels, and let's bring it to the center. So let's type left 50% and transform, translate x, negative 50% to bring it to the exact center. And here we have the caption. So with that, we have styled our lightbox. Now let's go ahead and add the functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a class called active when we want to display this lightbox. So here by default, we'll set the opacity of the lightbox to 0, and also the pointer events to none so that we are not able to click on it. And when we add the active class, so let's type lightbox dot active, then we'll just set the opacity back to 1 and pointer events to auto. And we'll also add a smooth transition, so I'll just type transition of all 300 milliseconds is. So now if we go back to our website, here we can see that the lightbox is not being displayed. But if we go to the HTML and for the lightbox, if we add the class active, now we have the lightbox displayed. So let's remove it for now, and let's display the lightbox when we click on one of these images. So first of all, let's set the cursor to pointer for these images so that the user knows that it is clickable. So let's go to the style.css file, and let's go to the gallery image, and I'll just type cursor pointer, and now we have the cursor set to pointer. So let's go ahead and select all these images which are inside the gallery, and let's store them inside a constant in the JavaScript. So let's type const, and I'll just call it images equals document.querySelector gallery img, and here we need to change this to query selector all because we are selecting multiple elements. Now all these images will be stored inside this images constant. Right now let's target the lightbox. So let's type lightbox equals document.querySelector lightbox. Right now let's target the next and the previous button. So let's type const next btn equals document.querySelector, and we have division with the class of prev btn and next btn. So let's type next, or let's type lightbox next btn, and let's type const prev btn equals document.querySelector lightbox prev btn. Let's also target the close button. So let's type const close btn equals document.querySelector, and inside the lightbox we have a division with the class of close icon. Now we also need to change the image and the caption of the lightbox. So inside the lightbox we have this img tag. So let's select that. I'll just type const lightbox image equals document.querySelector lightbox img. Now let's select the lightbox caption. So let's type const lightbox caption equals document.querySelector lightbox, and let's see what's the caption class. So we have this class of caption. So let's type dot caption. Right now let's go ahead and add event listeners for all these images. So let's type images, and we'll use a for each loop. So let's type dot for each. Now for each of the image, I'll just call it image, and let's create an arrow function, and let's type image dot add event listener, and we'll listen for the click event. And when someone clicks on the image, we want to display the lightbox. So what we will do is we'll create a function for that, and I'll just call the function display lightbox. Now here we need to pass the index of the image so that we can display the correct image in the lightbox. But first of all, let's create this display lightbox function. And here what we need to do is we need to set the active class to the lightbox. So let's type lightbox dot class list dot add active. So now if we go back, and if I click on any of these images, we have the lightbox displayed. Right now we have the same image displayed. And now let's go ahead and add the functionality of the close icon. So let's type close button dot add event listener, and let's listen for the click event. And when someone clicks on the close button, we want to remove the active class from the lightbox. So let's type lightbox dot class list dot remove active, and now we can see that the close icon is working all right. Now let's go ahead and display the correct image. So here let's go ahead and create a variable called current index, and by default let's set it to 0. Now here in this function we will pass the index of the image that we want to display. So I'll just call it index, and here let's pass the index. So we will get the index inside a for each loop in the second argument. So here let's add a second argument, and I'll just call it index, and let's pass the index over here. So what this will do is for the first image it will pass the index 0, and 1 for the second image, and so on. So here let's go ahead and type lightbox image dot src equals images, which we are getting over here. So we are getting all the images inside this images constant, and here we will select the image which is of this index right here. So let's add it inside these square brackets, and then we need to type dot src. So it will get the src, or the source of this image, and store it inside this lightbox image. And let's do the same for the lightbox caption. So let's type lightbox caption dot text content equals images index dot. Now here we need to get the data attribute, and it is called data hyphen caption. So let's type get attribute data hyphen caption, and now let's set the current index to the index that we get over here. So let's type current index equals index. This will be useful for the next and the previous buttons because we get the index over here globally. So now let's go ahead and click on this image right here, and we have the correct image displayed over here. Let's click on this image, and everything is working all right. Right now, let's write the functionality of the next and the previous buttons. So let's type next btn dot add event listener, and let's listen for the click event. And here what we need to do is we need to set the current index to the current index plus 1, because we need to get the next image. And here we will use the modulo operator, and let's type images dot length. So what this will do is right now, if the image index or the current index is 0, when we click on the next button, it will change to 1. And when we click on the next button once again, it will change to 2, and then it will change to 3. But when we click on the next button again, it will change back to 0, because we just have 4 images in our gallery. So that's because we use this modulo operator with the image length. So the length will be set to 4. So in this way, after the last image, the first image will be shown. And here let's go ahead and display the lightbox. So let's type display lightbox current index. So this will go ahead and call this function once again with the updated current index. Now let's write the functionality of the previous button. So let's copy this and let's paste it down here, and let's change this to priv btn, and here we need to change this to current index -1. Now here the problem is that the current index can be negative, so that can cause problems with this modulo operator. So let's go ahead and also add images dot length over here. So this will make sure that it has the positive value always. Right now, let's go ahead and save this, and let's go back to our website. Let's click on this image and let's click on the next image, and it is working all right. After the last image, we go back to the first image. Let's click on the previous image, and it is also working all right. So with that, we have completed adding the lightbox to our website using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Alright, so that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.